Shocking fact! Jungkook BTS's earnings at UMG break world records. Hello Army! In a world that moves too fast, where dreams are often lost in the relentless chaos of survival, there are still a few rare souls who dare to dream louder, fight harder, and shine brighter against the odds. They are the beacons in the storm, the voices in the silence, the living proof that hope is not a myth. Among those rare, extraordinary souls is a name that today echoes across oceans, mountains, and endless skies. A name whispered with awe, screamed with devotion, and carried in the hearts of millions around the globe. A name written not just in lights, but in the dreams of a generation. Jungkook. A little boy from Busan, the birth of a dream. September 1st, 1997. The world spun on as it always had, unaware that somewhere in a quiet corner of Busan, South Korea, a miracle had arrived. In a small, modest home, cradled in the arms of unconditional love, a baby's first cry pierced the air, signaling the beginning of a journey that would one day change the fabric of the world's music and spirit. There were no flashing cameras that day. No grand proclamations. Just the pure, trembling hope of a family who saw in that tiny life all the beauty and promise life could offer. Even as a toddler, Jungkook's gaze was different. A depth, a hunger, a sparkle that hinted at an invisible universe only he could see. While others chased fleeting pleasures, Jungkook stared up at the stars, speaking silently to the heavens, whispering dreams too vast for anyone else to comprehend. One day, he vowed with a heart too big for his small frame, "I will not just live. I will soar." And beyond anyone's wildest imagination, the world would one day soar alongside him. The first pain, saying goodbye. At just 13 years old, an age where most children are still cradled by the innocence of youth, Jungkook made a choice that would demand more strength than many adults could muster. He left behind the laughter of classmates, the comfort of home-cooked meals, the simple warmth of familiar arms, to chase a dream painted in shadows and uncertainty. Imagine a boy, small hands clutching a worn-out backpack, standing on the edge of everything he knew, stepping into a future where every comfort was traded for the hope of something greater. The tears he didn't allow himself to shed at the train station. He cried silently in sterile practice rooms, where echoes were his only companions. He fought loneliness, crushing exhaustion, and doubt so heavy it could have broken him. Night after night, while the city slept, Jungkook danced with invisible burdens, asked silent questions to an indifferent ceiling, and clung desperately to a fragile dream only he could see. Will this pain ever be worth it? But through every crack in his heart, through every moment when giving up seemed easier, the fire inside him burned stronger. A fire no failure, no rejection, no darkness could ever extinguish. BTS, building a miracle from nothing. When BTS debuted in 2013, the world didn't roll out red carpets for them. There were no glamorous magazine covers, no record-breaking pre-orders, no screaming stadiums. Instead, there was skepticism. There was mockery. There were empty seats. Yet even when no one was watching, they performed as if the world was standing still to witness them. They danced for invisible crowds. They sang for the dream itself. Jungkook, the youngest among them, bore a weight most couldn't fathom. He wasn't just learning to sing or dance. He was learning to survive under a sky that refused to rain blessings. Still, he smiled through the pain. He laughed through the fear. He stood tall when his knees trembled, because he believed with the pure, unshakable certainty of a heart forged in adversity. The dream is real, even if the world doesn't see it yet. And slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the tide began to turn. A few fans turned into hundreds. Hundreds turned into millions. And millions into an unstoppable global movement. The noise of mockery was drowned out by a tidal wave of love so fierce it could move mountains. Global conqueror, the rise of Jungkook. From forgotten festival stages to the grandest arenas on earth, BTS and Jungkook soared higher and faster than anyone dared imagine. But behind every glamorous photograph, behind every glittering trophy, was a tapestry woven with blood, sweat, and invisible tears. Jungkook wasn't just building a career. He was building a new reality where hope could triumph over despair. Each note he sang, each move he made on stage, carried the weight of thousands of sleepless nights, millions of unspoken prayers, countless silent sacrifices. He wasn't merely an idol. He became a living, breathing symbol. A symbol of resilience. A symbol of dreams realized through unimaginable struggle. A symbol of the truth that no dream is ever too big and no heart too small. Through every heartbreak and every triumph, Jungkook's voice sang the same unshakable promise. You are not alone. And the world, battered and broken in its own ways, listened. And the world, miraculously, began to heal. The solo star, Jungkook unleashed. After conquering the world with BTS, Jungkook did the unthinkable once more. He dared to step into the terrifying unknown, alone. The result was nothing short of revolutionary. His first solo single, 7, didn't just climb charts. It exploded, demolishing records across 100-plus countries. It rewrote Spotify history. It dominated Billboard like a force of nature. And it was only the beginning. Each note of 7, each electric beat of 3D, each whispered lyric in a standing next to you, was more than just music, it was a statement of identity. This is who I am. And I am just beginning. The boy who once whispered dreams to stars in Busan was now painting the sky itself with new constellations. The UMG era, making history. Universal Music Group, the giant of the music industry, saw what the world already knew. Jungkook wasn't just an artist. He was a phenomenon. A revolution wrapped in humility and raw, unmatched talent. The partnership they offered wasn't ordinary. It wasn't cautious. It was historic. And Jungkook delivered in ways that even they couldn't have dared predict. In less than a year, Jungkook's contributions generated over $100 million in revenue for UMG. Not through scandals. Not through gimmicks. Through pure artistry. Through a connection so authentic, so real, that it tore through cultural, linguistic, and geographic barriers. Jungkook didn't just become UMG's golden boy. He became their guiding star, leading them into a new era where sincerity, emotion, and truth were the highest currencies of all. Fans around the world, the true treasure. But beyond the numbers, beyond the flashing cameras and red carpets, lay Jungkook's true empire. The hearts he touched. From a teenage girl in Manila whispering, "Jungkook saved my life," to an elderly man in Paris confessing, "Through his songs, I found the strength to love again." Jungkook's music wasn't just entertainment. It was medicine for broken souls. He healed. He inspired. He reignited dreams in hearts that had long since given up. And in doing so, he built a kingdom not of gold and stone, but of love and hope. The shock heard around the world. When news of Jungkook's record-breaking earnings hit, the world gasped. It was a moment of collective awe. Not just because of the money, but because of what it symbolized. A Korean boy, singing in a language many still don't fully understand, had conquered a world that once told him he never could. He didn't just break records. He shattered centuries of bias. He proved that art, when created with truth and soul, knows no borders, no limits. When you sing from the soul, the world listens. And it listens still. A future without limits. So what awaits Jungkook now? Awards? Yes, countless. World tours? Absolutely. But beyond the trophies and charts lies something even greater. A future so boundless, so luminous, that even the stars themselves must step aside and make room. The boy who once dreamed in the darkness now leads the world toward the light. And as we watch, breathless and grateful, we realize one undeniable thrilling truth.